Dynamite download.
AEW 2020, John Silver.
Special event, as you can see, SPD.
For a splashing good time. January recruitment month for them.
I come along, you know. I come along in the ring.
I mean, I would not want to hear that. I would not want to. Welcome to Dynamite Download.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah.
Tonight is going to be a preview show to the pay-per-view that is going to change the landscaping
Yeah, do it with us, everyone.
of AEW, man. And looking at all the results that we've been, I mean, this promo that you've been putting out there, SPD, this idea was brilliant by you. We've gotten so much feedback from the fans.
Yes.
Whoever gets the most accurate picks, including the tiebreaker, is going to get some Dynamite download merch. They're going to get some swag. It's going to be a great little grab bag for the winner out there. So really great idea. And based off of what I'm seeing, there's a lot of people who are predicting some changes to the landscape.
There will be a lot of changes to that landscape.
To the AEW
sure.
landscape, my friend. Absolutely.
Oh, man, this is exciting. I was listening to the Tony Khan Unrestricted a little bit, and he kind of had a little birdie in my ear, kind of just, maybe adjusting my picks too. And after what we saw on Dynamite as well. But I mean, you look at I don't want to spoil any of our things, but here we go. This is what we want. You look at this card and the sheer amount of talent that is on here. It is truly unbelievable. And I mean, this is just props to the depth of the roster. There's still so many guys that you don't see on here, like the Butchers and the Blades, so many that you could have a separate pay-per-view full of stars too. So I'm excited, man. I can't wait for this. I mean, it's going to be this whole weekend. Would have been outstanding to go to. We can't wait. At the end of our show, we're gonna stream in Sharonica, who's been there for it all, and she'll be there for it tomorrow too. So she's very, very lucky. We saw her on TV holding up her Inner Circle Squad sign. So loved it. So this is it. The Double or Nothing preview show. Welcome everybody.
This card is loaded, man. Absolutely loaded. And that's one of the cool things about this show. The landscape can get changed or it can stay the same. I'm seeing, reviewing all the fan picks that have come in through this promotion that we've been doing. Some people were saying, "Oh, I got a couple controversial picks in there. I'm throwing some wild cards in." Honestly, every single match, you could justify it going one way or the other. All these matches. I mean, there was, me.
It took a while.
I was struggling. I'm right up against the buzzer, guys. I have such a hard time locking in choices. There are so many matches that are so tough to predict in this show. I really think that this is one of those pay-per-views, and I love that AEW does their pay-per-views quarterly, SPD.
Me too.
This makes it feel so special. As a guy who's been a lifelong WWE fan, and I've been huge into UFC for a long, long time, I felt like UFC, they struggled a little bit when they felt like they started to make all their events feel less important. AEW's pay-per-views are not watered down. This feels so important. Double or Nothing has the potential to truly change the landscape of the whole company moving forward, and I really enjoy that. I love being on the edge of my seat, really wondering what's going to happen in this show. Let's dive right into the buy-in, because I feel like this has been one of those matches, and there were a few on tonight's show that felt like there was a pretty strong consensus on who was going to win this one. Your boy Crayfish is going with Serena Deeb. You know me, brother.
I know you're a big Deeb fan.
You know me. I'm a big Serena Deeb fan. I feel like she is the excellence of execution. She really gives me those flashbacks to when I was a little kid watching Bret Hart. She just has the way that she blends her technical ability. And, you and all three of us have been talking with it. She has an aggression in her matches. She goes after it. She makes her matches feel like they're fights, brother. Like she is in it to win it. And I really like her aggressive side that's come out. She looked like she had no ring rust. This is also one of those matches that you and I, we were there live when we saw Deeb versus Riho in the women's tournament. And that was, I remember prepping for this. Yep. That match was one where you kept saying over and over and over again, this feels like a match that could have been, a semifinals or a finals of a women's tournament.
Finals for sure.
That's the type of talent. Riho is our first AEW women's champion. Serena Deeb, the NWA women's champion. Really a great blend of styles, and this one's going to be really exciting.
I can't wait for this rematch. I was really excited that they added this to the buy-in for free for all of us as well. And you, like I said, you were saying that was like the match of the night in a stacked Dynamite that we went to live back in February.
Yep.
And it was very impressive. Both ladies were not big stature, but they were doing big stuff for sure. And it was a lot of fun. And so we're going to, for those of you joining us, thank you for joining us. You could feel free to, if you haven't submitted your bingo card, it's okay. You can still submit it, Brian. You have the deadline before the show tomorrow. We'll probably cut off.
Brian sent us a DM, brother. I got Brian's picks locked in.
Okay, you got him locked in.
Trust me, Brian maybe influenced your boy Crayfish. He got me thinking about some stuff, man. There's some picks. So SPD, are you and I on the same page on this one? Are you thinking that Deeb's the winner, or do you think that this is one of the things, right? Like I've been saying it would be nice if AEW threw NWA a bone. Maybe they help and get Riho the title and kind of let Riho show up on their show. Or are you thinking that Deeb's going to come out on top?
My pick, as well as Bond's pick, was Deeb.
Okay.
And, it makes most sense. Not only is she just, on her A game absolutely right now, but also, coming back from an injury, so keep the steam going. She had an awesome match going. So to keep that steam going, develop another powerhouse in the division as she is. And so that it's a clean sweep from Team Dynamite Download. What did you guys think in the chat? Like you said earlier, we're going to go through the card, tell us our picks, then we'll reveal our full bingo card at the end. Everyone's bingo card. You can still submit them. Check our Twitter if you haven't submitted one. But
they're coming in hot and heavy. I know. I really like it.
I got a lot of screenshots. If you find any fresh ones, Crayfish, make sure you take a screenshot and send them.
You got it.
We'll have to do a review, and then we'll release the winner on Twitter too. But buy-in Deeb, it's a DDD sweep. Deeb Dynamite Download sweep for our picks on this one.
And I like seeing that, brother. That is fantastic. I wonder if that's going to stay consistent with the next matchup, because we're going to see Hangman Adam Page go against Brian Cage. Now, I know that Bonds is the resident Team Taz fanboy of our crew.
Sure.
Did Bonds pick at Brian Cage, the Machine, to come out on top, or did he pick Hangman Adam Page?
You want me to tell you right now?
Let's hear it.
Bonds is a Hangman Page picker.
Wow. All right. Well, then that means if the fanboy, if the slappy of our crew for Team Taz can pick Brian Cage or pick Brian Cage to lose this match, then I feel okay admitting I feel like the writing is on the wall. Hangman Adam Page, especially after that performance on Dynamite on Friday, that was one of those where he was bloody and he called out Brian Cage. Brian Cage is going to go one-on-one against Adam Page. No shenanigans, no outside interference. And I feel that's going to be very different from their last time these two men stepped in the ring together. SPD, we've been wondering, the Team Taz saga, the way that this went down on Friday night, it feels like if Cage loses this match against Page, it only adds more fuel to the fire of Brian Cage needs Team Taz, and Taz and the crew can rub it in a little bit and tell him he was being stupid and kind of get under his skin, get him riled up a little bit, and continue to plant those seeds of dissent in Team Taz. And
that's a good point. I didn't even think of that.
Thank you. Big picture, what made you? Who did you pick? I'm picking Hangman Adam Page to win this one. So right now it's 2-0 for Team Dynamite Download, going with Hangman Adam Page. What about you? Are you with the Cowboy?
Who better than
Wow.
Brian Cage? SPD is picking Cage after that amazing, convincing victory that he had over Hangman. I think, to me personally, I like the storyline where you're going, and that it makes very much sense. It makes so much sense, and the more I'm hearing you say it, I almost wish I would have gone Hangman.
You know me, Mr.
My
Sales guy.
So if I would have spoke first, my rhyme or reason was I feel like Cage could use this win way more than Page, and it could still veer that way that Cage is going to get this win and be like, you see, I don't need any of you. I can do it on my own because he's leaving him back. So if you twist it that way, Cage is going to just have a dominant win. Page and Cage have some respect at the end of a hard-fought battle match. But if Cage – and then – I don't think they're going to do the heel face tunnel because of all the fans, which was great, which we'll talk about later. I feel like Cage can kind of this would be an opportunity for him to turn his back on Team Taz because showing how he doesn't need them to win and move forward. So that's why I picked Brian Cage.
And do you see then, like, I mean, obviously Brian Cage with his win against Adam Page earlier in Dynamite, that really pushed him and cemented him in the top 5 in the rankings for number 1 contenders. Do you feel like this kind of win, a convincing pay-per-view win over Adam Page, could then catapult Brian Cage, the Machine, into like number 1 contender status?
I would love to see that.
That would be a big matchup. Brian Cage against the heavyweight fighting for the heavyweight championship would be really interesting. I personally feel like Hangman Adam Page, that story, the loss to Brian Cage set him back a little bit. He was riding high, and I felt like they pulled him back a little, and they weren't going to push him having a title match against Kenny Omega at Double or Nothing. I feel like there is that story of Adam Page's ascent. They want to slow play that a little bit, and I think that this is going to be a big match where Hangman beats the Machine in a one-on-one.
Okay.
Mano a mano, no outside noise. Because, I mean, again, when we saw the Machine go against Hangman Adam Page earlier on in Dynamite, that was one of those matches where, Team Taz really, they got the sneak attack in before the show, before the match started. And it kind of was a one-sided beatdown by Brian Cage. I mean, that was a pretty convincing massacre, a mauling by the Machine. Yes. I feel like this is a good opportunity to give Brian Cage a loss. Even though he came out strong earlier, it kind of evens up the score between these two guys, allows Adam Page to kind of show in a one-on-one scenario, this dude is legit, and it kind of pushes him over the edge. I feel like this is going to be a night where we look back on the Hangman's journey towards the championship. This is going to be where this really sparks the change. This is going to be the changing of the landscape in AEW. This is going to be where Adam Page starts the ascent towards the world title.
I like it. I'm all for it. But either way, I think this is the ascent of Cage breaking away from Taz, which is what we needed. So this one, it's just so torn with this one, man. But
lots of tough matchups tonight. The next one. Yeah, this next one was the one that I had the hardest time with.
You make some good points with it too.
Anthony Ogogo versus Cody Rhodes. This one really, I was up against it to the buzzer, guys. I was struggling with who wins this match. SPD, who did you pick to win this matchup? As I continue to debate in my head who wins, tell me who do you think wins this one and why?
I picked the Go-Go, and I never looked back.
Okay.
But even though you were trying to be the little birdie in my ear, texting, I said, save it for the show. But I picked a Go-Go. I think this is his time. I mean, for the Factory to get another loss. With to me, clearly, a Go-Go is the star of the Factory, and they need this victory over someone like Cody Rhodes. And like you said, the American Dream in Memorial Day weekend to go down is just going to bring even more and more heat for the fans too. A sold-out crowd, that is a perfect way to get an MJF-style boo, because MJF is the benchmark of heels.
I know.
So
I know.
if you want
really
to establish
with this.
that there's a lot of heels in AEW, which we'll talk about. DMD, which she's clearly getting won over. They claimed heels, but they're getting won over by the fans.
That's true.
The true, there's a lot of heels that get
despised
cheered.
Heels.
But
right.
To do this on Memorial Day and to do it in the fashion that he probably will, it will be true boos. Just like MJF gets true boos. He doesn't get cheers.
and even Ogogo even addressed this on Twitter tonight. He even said, like, listen, you freaking Yanks, I am not the good guy in this story. He made it very clear on Twitter. He put it very bluntly. I'm not the good guy. I hate all you guys. I'm sick of this. I'm tired of being passed over. I am going to seize my opportunity. I'm not doing this for the fans. I'm doing it for myself. Ogogo, to his credit, has certainly leaned into plenty of the heel tactics to build this one up. I was really torn on this one, dude. I went for a walk today with my wife, and we were going through the cemetery. Not to get too deep, but we had a cemetery around us, and we were going through and just looking out at the sea of flags on all the veterans that have served. Made me think about my grandparents. Both have served in the military, and one in Korea and one in World War II. Just made me thinking about like the patriotism and all those things. About, I know that I've been, for me, I'm all about just the factory versus the Nightmare family. That's the feud that I love. But now that this nationalism has got involved, and I've had some people talking to me on Twitter, like, and it got me thinking, like the American, Cody has taken on Dusty's title as the American Dream.
That's
for
deep.
For the American Dream to die on Memorial Day weekend, it just feels like, wow, that would be heavy, and that would be very hard to swallow. That would be a hard pill to swallow. And even as a QT Marshall factory fanboy over here, even as the heel of the group,
fanboy FF,
even as the heel of the group, as the FF of this team, I would even get pretty disgusted with Anthony if he pulls some BS tomorrow and leaves Cody laying. I would turn on him. I would be upset. I would be all fired up. And that's exactly why I'm picking Anthony Ogogo. I was torn on this. I went back and forth on this one, but I feel like by hook or by crook, whether QT Marshall and the boys get involved,
right,
Anthony Ogogo is going to pull this one off. And I feel the main reason why is because Cody is bulletproof, brother. This guy is, and I feel like Anthony Ogogo is a guy who, if he wins this match, his trajectory just skyrockets. If he loses this match, he and the factory all of a sudden become very meaningless, right?
Sure.
QT already lost. QT already lost face-to-face, head-to-head against Cody. As you said, it really feels like Ogogo is breaking out as the star of this group.
Mm-hmm.
For him to lose and the factory to lose this match, I just feel like it would derail something special that AEW has. Even though, and it would, and if Ogogo can win this match, and he can do, think about the bragging rights that he'll have. I killed the American Dream. He'll
put that on a T-shirt.
Put that on a T-shirt. I killed the American Dream, and that will sell like hotcakes. I have a feeling. I have a feeling that he's going to leave the piss boy land. As much as I want the good guy story to come true. As much as I want Cody to win,
a good guy to win.
I know you do. I'm picking Ogogo to pull this one out.
Okay, and that's a clean sweep from Team DD.
Wow.
So that's our second 2 out of 3 clean sweeps. This is, I think this one is going to be the most exciting in terms of future landscape storyline where it goes with, I think Cody taking a loss, almost, take him off screen for a little bit. And then Gogo just keeps pushing and just plowing through guys for it. But jeez, I'm excited for it.
That's a good point by Pen, and I think that Brian points it out. I think it's nice to see. I think there's going to be a lot of people rooting for Cody.
Oh yeah, of course.
But I think that as Pen points out, the story could be really great. You have Cody lose this match, it propels Ogogo to that upper echelon of absolutely despised heels.
Sure.
And then Cody goes away for a little while he and Brandy welcome,
Sure.
And continue to focus on their TV show that they have. And then Cody emerges back on the scene victoriously, and with a vengeance come 4th of July. I love that idea.
Neck tattoo.
I love that idea. Oh, maybe on the other side. I like that. That's a good call. Yeah, maybe.
No, I think that'd be great. It would be perfect fitting. What day of the week is 4th of July? Do we even know? I'm sure they could do
I'm sure we can find that out. They do have calendars these days. We can find that out. Sunday. All right. Well, maybe he comes back early and he does something for a Dynamite. I have a feeling that story between Cody, the Nightmare family, and the factory is not over with. That one's got a lot, as I like to say, one of my favorite sayings here at Dynamite Download.
Say it.
A lot of meat left on the bone on that one. I really like that one. SPD, you have the match. This one and the Ogogo Cody match. The 3 hardest matches that I had a hard time picking tonight. This, Ogogo and Cody, and then the Bucks versus Moxley and Kingston.
Wow.
I really struggled with this one because, as the heel of this crew, I see a ton of upside in All Ego Ethan Page. I think that this dude is the real deal Holyfield, brother.
Yeah.
I think that he can talk the talk, he can walk the walk.
Sure.
This dude is a real deal. And I look back on some of the older episodes that we've had over the course of this year.
Yeah.
And I've said it once, I'll say it again.
Say it.
I know that Christian Cage is the marquee name that they've signed this year, but I truly believe that Ethan Page is going to be the biggest signing of 2021 for AEW. I think that I really believe that this dude has that upper mid card heel, long lasting. I could see him being a TNT champion one day. I could see these two guys. Right now they're number 2 ranked tag team contenders. I see this guy as a no-brainer. I mean, there are certain characters that have emerged. I was early on the Britt Baker train. I was early on the Jade Cargill train. Right. I am more than happy to be early on the All Ego train. I think that this dude has everything. He checks all the boxes. I really had a hard time picking against him tonight, but I did. I picked Sting and Darby Allin to win.
Why?
And the main reason why,
tell me, please,
is besides me being the guy who's leading the Darby Express on this team, I feel like after Darby losing the TNT title, and for Sting to have his first match in front of a live audience, I feel like this is one of those matches that you have to have the good guys win this one. I think that it just makes too much sense. I know that All Ego and Scorpio Sky have a lot of buzz around them, and trust me, I want to see All Ego win. Trust me on that. I just think that they're the type of heels that can lose a match like this, and they're not here's my thing. Anthony Ogogo is the type of heel that he's a badass, right? He's a big, tough dude. And if he loses some of his mystique. He loses some of his aura. Mm-hmm. All Ego and Scorpio Sky are not that type. They're not these big, tough guys. These are the dirtbag types. These are the types of the Jack Evans types, the dirtbag characters that I like that sometimes they get more heat. Sometimes they get more long-term play when they have a setback, when they have a loss. It gives them more fuel to their fire. I don't know. I obviously I'm torn on it. My heart wants All Ego to win, but I just think that it would be very hard to have the Stinger and Darby lose this match. I think this is one of those feel-good moments, especially if Cody loses. My predictions, especially if Cody loses his match against Ogogo, I feel like you have to have a feel-good moment for the fans or two. And I feel like this is going to be one of those feel-good moments. I feel like this is going to be one of those matches where the fans are happy. They get to see the Stinger and Darby win.
Yeah.
I don't know. What about you?
So I had my picks locked in before yesterday's Dynamite. And, Bonds is on your train, the Sting and Darby train. I picked Sky and Paige. You know, me being the babyface, I'm went heel on this.
I
This
know.
being but the more that you're analyzing it again, I'm looking at the card. I'm looking at our bingo card, and you look at a lot of the picks that I made. It's almost a lot of heels winning. You know, a show needs to start strong. So obviously Deeb and Rio are going to get the crowd going. But to kick off the pay-per-view, this would be a perfect match to kick off the pay-per-view, which I think would. And then at that point, you would need to keep the crowd rolling to have Sting and Darby win. That makes so much sense. But I really feel like Sky and Paige are on such a strong roll that they need this win so bad. And just to push them to the top, it could be a great segue, or it could be a great feud down the line in a few months or weeks with Mox and Kingston. That would be really fun too.
Yeah,
so I
Good
think to
promos
push
between
their
those two
momentum
teams.
for sure. Keep pushing them.
Good call.
Obviously, like I said, if this is the opening match, there's no way Sting and Darby are going to be losing. You know, you don't want to suck the air out of a crowd. It's all about placement of the match card and things like that. So that's the only downfall of that. But watching Paige and Sky on Dynamite last night, honestly, Uno and Stu outworked them. Then props to Stu and Uno, man. The Hurricane Rana, they outworked them. Obviously, the whole storyline at the end was really fun. But I think these guys, to really help establish them, need to win more than Sting and Darby need to win. Even though it would be tough to have your TNT title take another loss and Sting take a loss, like, you got to pass the torch a little bit some and do diligence and change the landscape, you know, to elevate. This would elevate Paige and Sky even more to more of a Dynamite team versus a elevation.
I like
where
your head's at, and honestly,
I picked Paige and Sky
as the heel of the team. I was this tempted. I was so close to just picking all the heels to win this show. I was really close, and this is one of those matches where I feel like
an all heel card.
Maybe I'm betraying my own gut instincts. You know, I hear what you're saying. I mean, Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky are right now, they're the number 2 contenders. If Moxley and Kingston win later in the show,
sure,
this would, you know, Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky against Moxley and Kingston would be a nice little feud where you could, I mean, imagine the promo battles that those guys could have. I think Ethan Page could more than hold his own against Mox and Kingston. I like where your head's at, SPD.
Yeah.
I just feel like, you know, the Icon Sting.
In front of the first live thing, it makes sense.
It was tugging at my heartstrings. You know, I felt like the Grinch. You know, my heart was growing a little big, bigger and bigger. After watching Dynamite on Friday and seeing the live crowd, and seeing how amazing the reactions were, I just felt like you got to throw the people a bone. You have to
give the people what they want.
You got to give the people what they want. You got to let them see Dynamite. What the crowd reaction when Darby wins that match would be huge. And it could be one of the biggest pops of the night if you really think about it. Darby has a huge following, bro.
It would make sense to start the show with this, and I think this was what will start the show. Do you think otherwise? Looking at the card, that could have a good baby face pop.
That would be a great way to start. I do agree with you. That'd be a great way to start the show.
Or the Battle Royal.
The Battle Royal would be a good way too, because you get it out of the way. Because you know that match is going to be kind of long, and there's going to be a lot of stuff going on in that one. That could be one. Interesting question by SPD. Maybe that could have been our tiebreaker, our super duper tiebreaker. What opens the show?
True.
Double tiebreaker. I just mentioned you got to give people an opportunity to have a big pop.
Yeah.
I don't think there's going to be a bigger pop on the whole show than when the DMD takes the title off of Sheeta, leaves her laying, baby. and the DMD era begins. New belt.
The landscape has changed.
The landscape has changed, my friends. There's going to be a new belt, a new champion, and the DMD is going to soak in all the adoration from the people like me who would be going nuts for that title reign. I am so ready for this one, brother. Do you want to ask me who I think is going to win this match? What my pick is?
Everyone knows if you're a Dynamite Download fan how we feel about the new face of the women's division, and clearly it's a clean sweep across the board. Another clean sweep by the DMD, by DD for the DMD. It's the
hell yeah
sweep and changing the landscape. I mean, I think this will be a nice rematch after what happened, almost a year ago, breaking the nose. I think we're going to see an extra violent side for sure. We unfortunately won't give the people what they want, a spray tan, because I don't think you're going to be losing that bet,
brother. That's why I'm so confident. This beautiful. I don't need to change this complexion. I am not getting the orange. I'm not coming around like an Oompa Loompa, brother.
MJF look good in orange.
Yeah, the DMD is going to deliver as she always does.
Yep.
I am so excited for this matchup. I will say this. I was happy to see Shida make her way out there and have a little ceremony, have her moment. I do wish that there was more of that leading up to this match, but
yep.
I felt like that promo and that whole segment, like it was handled with class. It allowed Shida to have her moment, but Britt's having her moment tomorrow, brother. Shida had her moment on Friday. The DMD is having hers on Sunday, and it's going to be well deserved, my friend. The era of the DMD is going to start on Sunday at Double or Nothing, and you could bet your ass that the descent of the DMD is only just beginning, bro.
We haven't even seen the tip of the iceberg coming out of the water. Like,
can you imagine,
so much ahead
bro,
of us.
the promos that this woman is going to cut when she's got the belt on her shoulder, the character work that she's going to be able to put in.
Oh, yeah.
You have now she's not just, claiming that she's the face of the division. Now she is the face of the women's division. She has the belt. She can back up at all the trash that she talks. Yep. She's going to put the world on notice. This is going to be a game changer. This is going to be, you talk about changing the landscape, brother. This is going to be total remodel of your landscaping. This is going to be, the world is going to be put on notice. And thank God that AEW recognizes what they have with her. This is what makes me so excited to be an AEW fan. Mm-hmm. Because I have seen so many times in my course as a wrestling fan, this guy is can't miss. Why don't they push this woman? I don't get it. Why don't they push her? Yeah. AEW sees what they have with Britt Baker. They see the role model that she is. They see that she is money, baby.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I can't wait to have the women's division. I know, SPD, this is why you're in lockstep with me.
Yeah.
The women's division is going to be represented week in, week out, finally, on television with the top star in the women's division. And potentially, to me, I know that I'm kind of I'm in the minority, but I sure as hell am in the loud minority.
Well, you're always in the loud minority wherever you are.
The DMD is the top star in AEW. I know there's Kenny Omega fans out there. I know that there's MJF marks. There's Maxes out there for MJF. Yep. There is no bigger and more bankable commodity in this company than the DMD. You throw her on promos. You throw her on backstage segments. You have matches where she can bring out the best in people. Putting herself through hell in that match with Thunder Rosa. You put her on an interview with Busted Open or on Sports Illustrated. This woman represents herself, represents this division, and represents this company in a great, great way. And to be honest with you, this is I will say it again. I love when promos honor and respect the opponent, and then say, you did all this good stuff, but I'm still gonna beat you. I love what Britt did. She gave Shida her props, saying, Shida, you carried this division through one of the toughest times that anyone could ever imagine, a pandemic. But it doesn't mean anything because I'm still beating you. I love that. It just shows a certain level of confidence, and I love that respect that she showed Shida, as Shida deserves.
Of course,
that's what I wanted, for Britt to have this moment, to beat the longest reigning champion in AEW history.
Yeah.
I'm very glad that AEW leaned into that moment, leaned into recognizing that Shida is the longest reigning champion in company history. It makes the DMD's win that much more important, that much more, puts a little stank on it, if you know what I mean. I love it. And as the diehard DMD fanboy, that makes me very, very happy.
I can't wait. it's a clean lock for Team DD, and it
Love it.
makes perfect sense. And the landscape will be completely changed. And I mean, the landscape did get kind of changed a few weeks ago when Angry Miro took the TNT title belt.
Bonds' favorite thing that happened.
Man, he
Angry
put on
Miro.
a clinic on Friday night for sure, beating Dante. Obviously, none of us thought that. No, we love Top Flight and we see a lot of potential in them, but none of us saw Dante taking the belt off of Miro, and he sold great, man. He sold so good.
We saw the visual of Miro in the ring with Dante. It looked like a grown man with a little boy in the ring.
When he came out and flexed, he was like, and like the veins popping off his shoulders. I was like, good night.
What a visual that was.
He looked so scared.
And when he locked in the game over on Dante, it looked like he was literally going to break that young man in half. I mean, that was absolutely brutal, dude. That was one of the most like vicious accolades or game overs that I've ever seen Miro lock in. It looked like he was going to snap that dude's spine at the hips. It was absolutely nasty, dude.
It was brutal. And that's one move I do not want to be in. It just makes me cringe. And he sold well. And I loved the pacing of Lance Archer going back and forth behind Jake the Snake, going back and forth. And then just finally he busted out. And that got me so excited when it's like I tweeted, the focused monster versus an angry Miro. This is, I mean, we have, I chose Miro just, obviously if I could pick and book it myself, I would pick Lance Archer. But for knowing the way the storylines are going, I mean, we were hoping, I mean, we talked about it a little bit, that should be a no contest essentially. So no one wins, because they're just beating each other so bad and going outside and doing whatever they can because they're just so angry and such big hosses. And so I feel like this could be a no contest. That way we can stretch the feud more and more and more, stretch it out because this is one that we don't want a one and done. Like we haven't had enough time. This was rushed.
I hear you, man.
We need more of this, and we need it to build.
This would be such a bummer if Lance lost this match clean.
Sure.
We all agree. I know SPD, you are the most vocal. I tend to be the loudmouth of the crew, but I know you love yourself some Murder Hawk. I know that. You've been a big Murder Hawk supporter, a little Murder Hawk maniac. For quite some time. And it would be a bummer if he lost this match, given the history that Lance has had, getting a shot against Cody, getting the world championship title shot, losing that match. I would be very bummed out to see the Murder Hawk lose again. He'd be 0-3 in his big title matches, and that just doesn't feel right.
Definitely not for someone who's such a hard worker, so dedicated to the company, and so impressive in the ring. Yeah. I mean, he's a main event guy. The stuff he was doing a few months ago, he was my top performer.
I know.
4 or 5 weeks in a row. 4 or 5 weeks in a row. It was either him or Ray Phoenix.
I agree.
And he was carrying the main event on his back for over a month.
I know.
And for him to, get put down or take a clean loss on a big stage like this, like yes, he's worthy of the title shot 100%. It's a very tough situation, but yes, we all picked Miro as a DD sweep for that one as well, just because his title reign is so fresh. And we're reading the comments. Jake is the reason. This
was my pick, SPD, and this is what
tell me why.
I've been saying. I think that like Miro versus the Murder Hawk is one of those matches that they need to let simmer. This needs to be put in a slow cooker. Let this baby go low and slow for a long time. But for me, I feel like there's been so much tension, underlying tension between Jake and Lance ever since the Sting moment. Yeah. And I've been watching Dark Side of the Ring, and Jake's been involved in that, and he's been involved in the A&E documentaries of The Ultimate Warrior. I watched that, and it brought me back to when I was a little kid, and it made me remember why Jake was such a good, effective heel. You never trust the snake.
Right.
You never trust a snake. And, Lance has always bordered on that good guy, bad guy persona. Lance has always bordered on that good guy, bad guy persona. He is who he is. He's a one-man wrecking crew. I feel like I feel like Pen that we're in lockstep. I feel like Jake. There's going to be a point where Jake costs Lance this match, either turns on him deliberately.
Right.
Something's going to happen here. I really like the backdrop of the drama that could happen there. And wouldn't it be fascinating for the guy, who brought Lance into AEW to be then the guy who stabs him in the back and costs him the biggest opportunity, that he's had in 2021, potentially in his entire career.
Absolutely.
I think that would be a fascinating story. I think I'm with you. I don't want to book this as a dirty finish because that's not what AEW does, but I almost want them to. I want this to be one of those matches where, they just beat the hell out of each other. They end up in the cafeteria, hitting each other over
potatoes,
hitting each other. Yeah,
Dippin' Dots.
Yeah, doing something crazy like that. I want to see these guys just tossing each other around, and eventually the match gets thrown out. I want this to extend into the summer. I want this one to feel like there's another rematch down the road. And although I'm picking Miro to win, it's because he has the champion's advantage.
Sure.
So I think he is gonna. I think he's gonna hold this title. I think that he's gonna hold on to the belt. And I think that this is not the last time we're gonna see these two monsters lock horns.
We better not. That definitely better not see this. This is a dream main event feud, main event caliber match that could main event any pay-per-view, any Dynamite.
You said it, and you're right.
Yes. And talk about slow cookers. This is another one of those dreams we always have, dream feuds we have that we are look to the future, and we do we want more and more. We are spoiled and selfish. Don't end. We want
Let
more,
this
more, more.
extend to all out.
Slow
Keep
cooker
it
on
going.
the very lowest setting, 100-degree slow cooker, so barely even gets a warm center, not even. So this one, I was shocked that they're going to be doing such a huge match, weeks after Blood and Guts and another Stadium Stampede, which was absolutely hilarious. It was awesome. It was well shot. It was chaotic. It had told a lot of stories. I loved the first Stadium Stampede. Now we're getting the Inner Circle, going to try to double or nothing the Stadium Stampede. So, they went down last time, and now my pick is Inner Circle. Hence, I'm wearing my Inner Circle shirt. The Inner Circle squad is proudly represented it. So, part of our bingo card was picking the winner of this match, and the tiebreaker was picking who takes the pin, essentially who's going to pin and come out victorious for their team. And my pick for it is Chris Jericho, because he took the big bump. He's the leader.
You're right.
I mean, it could be anybody, and I'll be happy, obviously. But the way he's going to do it, he's going to play with the elbow. He's going to do the Judas effect with the elbow brace, knock someone out.
I like
knock
that.
someone out with the elbow brace, and then he's going to take the victory over it. And the leader's going to stand tall, and the feud is just going to keep riding its way full throttle.
You're going like the Lex Luger with the narcissist with the steel plate in his arm.
That's right.
That's a brilliant call by you, man.
I was thinking about that last night. I didn't want to tell you. I wanted to reveal it.
That is a huge brace, too, man. That is bulky as hell.
So you talk about the Judas effect with the brace is going to knock someone's head right off.
That's a great call by you. Now you got me all mad that I'm going to lose. That's an awesome pick. I really like that pick by you. I think that might, now I can see it all happening, and you're going to be, I told you, Crayfish, you are the visionary of the team, SPD.
Well, I told you, I called that Pac comeback with the Death Triangle versus
you did,
and that was pretty sweet.
That was one of your biggest moments in that Dynamite download history. You were so right on the money.
You and Bonds both picked for the tiebreaker for Sammy Guevara to take the pin, which would be perfect, as we could see. Obviously, the crowd was so hot and gave him a huge pop.
So all three of us are picking the Inner Circle.
Inner Circle squad.
Gosh.
Well, I mean, it makes sense because it's another one of those things. The slow cooker, we do not want this to end. There's so many sub feuds that can end. Yeah. So within the sub feuds,
slow cooker,
what do you think would be the ultimate? I mean, Inner Circle can't break up now. I mean, it would be such a blow to AEW, I think, because of how strong both groups are in the feud.
Yeah.
What down the line do you see? Where do you see the kind of the final nail in either ones? Like, what other match could they do? It's crazy to think they're doing two humongous ones, Blood and Guts and Stadium Stampede. I don't know. They'll think of something creative because they have.
And that when you put it that way, how does this feud end? You almost make me want to change my pick to pick the Pinnacle. And I would pivot like that. Ice cream choices. I'd switch right on the last second.
Already printed, bro.
I'm picking the Inner Circle just because I feel like this feud has way too much meat left on the bone. I feel like this feud is one of those that should extend throughout the summer. You and I have talked about this time and again. I want to see Santana and Ortiz versus FTR. Right. I want to see MJF versus. I want to see MJF versus Sammy. I want to see Santana, and I want to see Spears go against Sammy Guevara. I want these matches. I don't want this feud to end.
Because if they break up, why would they still feud?
When you have this much heat on a feud and you've put this much work into it, right?
Yeah.
Like why end it when it's still this hot?
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like there's still so many stories. Woo! When there's still this much left, like you could see so many potential matchups that would make great television.
Right.
Why would you not take advantage of that? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like dude, if like you and I've talked about it, if you threw Sammy against Wardlow, like if you just threw random, like just like you always talk about, take the 2 dice, throw them out on the table. That's what we're doing tonight. That's the match we're going to do. It's going to be Dax versus Santana one-on-one. It's going to be, whatever. Throw in these matches. This is the feud that you have. And this is my favorite part about what this feud has become, SPD, is we saw it again on Dynamite on Friday. This is not Jericho and his buddies against MJF and his like supporters, right? These are 5-on-5 legit stars going against each other. Everybody's gotten their chance to have opportunities to cut great promos. We've seen good character work. I know that you are quickly becoming a Santana fanboy. Seeing Santana, his character develop the way it has, that swagger, that confidence that he's had with the shades. Right. The dude, you could clearly tell is emerging from the pack as a guy who all right, this guy's got some swagger to him. This guy's got some star power behind him. Dax has separated himself from the pack as the workhorseman of the Pinnacle. You see, Wardlow is a guy we are chomping at the bit for the Ward Dog to get unleashed.
Release the beast.
Maybe with his action figure coming out, they'll let him get some more matches. I feel like this is the type of thing where you set the stage. Why would you end it so soon when there's so many matchups that we still want to see? And so the only way that this continues is if the Inner Circle takes the W on this. The reason why I picked Sammy to get the W is, Sammy was the one at Blood and Guts who, although Jericho took the spot, he was the one who quit for the team, who gave up for the team. And throughout this story arc, Sammy has really felt like he's been the pulse. He's been the heartbeat of the Inner Circle. He knew that MJF was the snake. He knew that MJF couldn't be trusted. He sniffed that out very early on. I know that Jericho is the godfather of the Inner Circle, but there have been a lot of moments where I've felt they're planting the seed for Sammy to really emerge as a leader of this group. And I know that there's no way that Jericho is going to get, bypassed by Sammy.
Sure.
But there is a feeling to me as a fan, as I watch this product, that Sammy is starting to emerge as the guy in this crew. And, I remember watching when you see him and Jericho as the sex gods, when you see him now that he brings back the signs.
Oh, it's great.
He has a lot of charisma, bro. This kid,
does he ever?
This kid has a huge ceiling. So I feel like if he can get the W to this on Sunday, and potentially, I think that Spears is the guy who potentially eats the pin. That would be a great match for. Then the chairman wants to get revenge. We've seen layers of the chairman having an anger, a fire in him. He almost got like signs of Randy Orton where he could snap at any moment. for him to take the loss against Sammy would set the stage for the chairman versus Sammy going forward.
Right.
And I think that's a match that is $1 million. After the chairman booted his face through a chair, I think that would be a great matchup. I just think there's so much going forward. Sorry for talking so much about this one, but I think that this one is really exciting. And I don't think
it's going to be great.
I don't think that based off of our views on Dynamite, when we look at Dynamite Download and the videos that we see, the Inner Circle and the Pinnacle are not getting the love that I think that they should. This feud,
they're not. I agree.
Has been just absolute fire, dude. Like, I love this feud. I think that they've been absolutely killing it on both sides.
So I'm
home
excited
run. I mean,
this is my favorite. I mean, we love DMD feud. We love Kenny Omega and the Elite, but there's not one more I'm more excited about than Inner Circle and Pinnacle. That is my favorite for sure. It's no reason why they close out Dynamite. It's no reason why they've closed out Dynamite time and time again, and none of them are carrying gold. None of them need them to have gold. So I can't wait for this. And I mean, there's so many matches on this card that would be like, how do you follow it? How would you book? So at the end of when we run this bingo card, I want off the cuffs, book the card in order, and you need to do it in like 60 seconds or less. No over analyzing. Just book the order.
That's hard for me to do.
I know, but you just do it.
Thank you for giving me a buffer. You know, you gave me a couple matches still where I can think about how I would book it. I appreciate you doing that.
But this one, you know, Tony Khan talked about on Unrestricted how this match would be the toughest one to follow on the card for sure. So the Young Bucks and King, I mean, this honestly could start the show too. I mean, you talk about if we have a title change, the pop that Moxley gets for the crowd and the Wild Thing theme song and all that, like this could pop for the crowd. If this were to start the show, you should have a title change. Right, that'd be a great one.
You make my heart. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, SPD.
So this one could be a show starter as well and a title changer. So that way you have a Riding High Strong, but the Young Bucks were not featured on Dynamite at all yesterday, and they're like the only ones that were on this card pretty much that weren't featured. Did you notice that?
Yeah, I did. I noticed, and it was interesting to me because you got this, like, I feel like this is why I struggled with this match so much, is because it does feel like the Bucks are doing the best work that they've had.
Oh yeah,
in AEW right now. They are their best version of themselves right now. Like,
sure.
if you're a Pokemon
and all.
If you're a Pokemon fan, this is their most evolved version. This is their Charizard.
I don't even know what that means.
This is their Charizard. This is their Blastoise. These guys with the danglies and all. This is their most elite version of themselves. I love the work they're doing right now. I don't want to see them lose. I love their heel work. I love everything about them right now. I love their danglies. I love their ridiculously stupid outfits that they just get more and more dumb every single week. I love their new bios on Twitter. They are my favorite follow right now on social media just because their bios are just so great. They're so funny. Everything they're doing right now seems to be top tier, and it kills me to know that I predicted them to lose this match. I'm predicting Eddie Kingston and Moxley to win because I'm predicting the landscape to change in AEW, and I feel like this is a match where the titles could change hands believably. The overarching, when you see the overarching story of my predictions tonight, I'll talk about it at the end. But I think that the Bucks losing is going to feed into this narrative that I'm seeing play out, not just in AEW television, but I've been watching it on Impact.
Mm-hmm.
There is a story to be told with the Elite slowly not being the Elite anymore, with them racking up losses, with them looking at each other and wondering what is happening here. You know, I know that Bonds and I have talked about this a lot, but Kenny his descent into madness as the belt collector, if he slowly loses his belts, the Good Brothers lost their tag titles. If the Bucks lose their belts, it could continue to feed into this narrative of he's going mad. He wants so desperately. The Invisible Hand and Don Callis with Kenny wants so desperately to control the landscape of professional wrestling, and for them to lose that, for them to slowly see things falling apart, it could lead to some really compelling, beautiful television. I want, in my heart of hearts, I want the Bucks to win as the heel of this team.
Yeah.
I feel like they are doing their best work right now. But I think that Moxley and Kingston if the Moxley and Kingston don't win, this is what made me pick them, is if Moxley and Kingston don't win, who dethrones the Bucks? I don't like, this is like a super group. I don't know if any other team could, because my first thought was FTR, but FTR is very preoccupied with Santana Ortiz and this greater story of the Inner Circle versus the Pinnacle. There are no clear. I mean, if you look at the top contenders, the Bucks have beat everyone. They beat the Acclaimed. They beat the Varsity Blondes. They've beaten everybody in AEW. You start to question, all right, well, if they don't lose here, who dethrones these guys? And that's where I started. I told myself, all right, like, this has to happen. This has to change. The belts have to change hands, because I can't logically pick a team to dethrone these guys, these brothers, unless it could potentially be the Lucha Brothers, which would be my golden triangle coming to fruition, which would be great. But so that's why I picked Moxley and Kingston.
Yeah, Bonds picked Moxley and Kingston as well, and I picked Moxley and Kingston as well. That being said, you look at the landscape being changed. You would have a full heel title holders, and I like you. I would love if Moxley and Eddie don't win. I'm still going to be happy, because the Young Bucks are just absolutely on a pure roll. They're killing the game for sure, and I think even if they do lose, they're going to be more angry and more douchey and dress the part and do everything they can and like still be these cocky, arrogant guys. But to have a belt or gold around Moxley's waist, it's just going to be another element of crowd popping, especially with the touring and the schedule and all that. I think that is a perfect way as well. So these guys, it would be the only way I see this. Honestly, Moxley and Kingston losing is shenanigans from the Elite, and then Kingston taking the loss. But I would be happy for it. And like you said before, a transitional kind of champions, and then you can have someone like the Ethan Page and Sky battle them, the Acclaim battle them again, FTR battle them, or something like that.
I feel
there is no clear baby face that could take the belts off them at this point that I see.
Moxley and Kingston getting the win here really shakes up the tag division, and I'm the tag team fanboy. I feel like this division desperately needs a shakeup. I think that the women's division has come a long way. I feel like the tag division really does need something, something that throws a wild card and shakes everything up, changes the landscape of the tag division. So SPD, give us a summary as the card holder. Are all three of us in lockstep on this one?
So it is a Dynamite download sweep again. It is a Mox and Kingston train.
Wow. Love it.
I know. It is we have it at a couple. I think that's maybe 3 or 4.
So Brian, no, they are not going to win, Brian. Sorry, buddy.
Before we talk about
Moxley and Kingston,
that's right. Before we talk about the main event, we're going to do the Battle Royal and make this is kind of like a wild card pick. Bonds, picked the 21/Joker. He wasn't more specific as well. So I know we each are going to have a different pick, but everyone loves a battle royal. Everyone loves a Royal Rumble. It's exciting. It creates new feuds. It furthers other feuds. There's a lot of different things that are going on right now with everyone involved. You talk about varsity, like I said earlier, Varsity Blondes and Acclaim can have a great feud. You got Taz members and Dark Order members. You got HFO members as well, Private Party, Matt Hardy, Jungle Boy. It's going to be very exciting, and Matt Seidel's going to have a chance to redeem himself.
Jungle Boy is a guy who I saw a couple people pick Jungle Boy from the fan section, and I was like, "Damn, am I?"
That's my pick.
Am
Jungle
I
Boy is
messing
my
up?
pick.
Yeah,
Jungle
dude.
Boy is my pick.
Yeah.
After analyzing the landscape of it,
Yeah.
and after
The
seeing
landscape.
Christian Cage and Willie Hobbs fighting backstage on Friday, I
Yeah.
thought it's not time for Cage to feud with Kenny. I think
Great.
further this team feud. So I was like, okay, Cage obviously is the clear favorite, looking
Yeah.
at the landscape of
Right.
the group of men that are involved.
You're right.
And so that's why I went with Jungle Boy,
You're right.
which would be a good feud. Which, whoever does take the AEW championship in the main event for any of them. So someone who could put on some great matches, kind of, lead up to a main event title match and still come out strong by taking a loss by not capturing the world title belt. So
I
Jungle Boy deserves it.
Love that pick. And, JR has been talking about it. Every time Jungle Boy's on television, he says, this is a guy who is a legitimate challenger and a potential champion down the road. And he really has been preaching that that's the guy. Jungle Boy is the guy who's red hot, has so much potential. And, depending on who you pick is going to win the title.
Sure.
I mean, in the main event, Jungle Boy versus Kenny Omega would be a freaking awesome match.
Oh, yeah. It would be a battle.
And that would be a lot of fun. You get the underdog babyface dynamic of Jungle Boy. That would be a really great feel-good. When we talk about feel-good moments, that would be a really great feel-good moment, and certainly feels like the crowd would go crazy if JB won. Sharonica actually mentioned that right there. Sharonica and I feel like Sharonica and Crayfish got the similar vibes going. JB winning this thing would set people off. He would get a pop like nobody else, I think, in this match. I picked Christian Cage, who I feel like when I look at the seeds that were planted at his debut, when he first came into AEW, he made it very clear he was coming for Kenny. He was coming for the belt. This would be a really interesting way. I think that you could play the Christian going against Team Taz throughout this whole battle royal. And I would love if Christian and Hobbs got involved in the finals, in the final four, in some way, shape, or form. I think that there's a great story to be told there.
Yep.
Christian's moniker of outwork everyone. If I know it's been controversial in the locker room, I know it's rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, but if Christian finds a way to outwork everyone, to live up to that moniker, and to win this battle royal, I think that you mentioned JB as being a guy who could win the battle royal and take a challenge at the title and lose and still win, if that makes sense.
Yeah. It makes sense to me.
Lose against the champion, but still come out looking better. Christian could be another example. And I know that, he and JB are polar opposites, right? JB is a young up and comer. Christian is an established veteran. I feel like Christian isn't one of those. When we look at the landscape of AEW, Christian Cage is such a perfect future challenger for the title because you lose nothing with him going for that title shot. You gain a lot of credibility with whoever the champion is, potentially beating a Hall of Famer in Christian. I think that that's a very safe pick. So my pick is Christian. I was leaning on the safe side with that guy. I think that he is the favorite going into this one. My heart wanted QT Marshall to win. But I'm picking Christian to win it. What did Bonds pick?
Bonds picked the Joker, so he wasn't.
So we're well represented. I think all three of us are split on this one. I think that you got the sentimental favorite with JB. The Joker is the fun kind of unknown.
You never know.
I think that would be really cool.
Kurt Angle, Andrade. Is it going to be Ray Phoenix? It could be. It doesn't necessarily have to be a surprise. It could be Ray Phoenix. Speaking of being a triple split, all three of us picked someone different in this main event.
I like it.
Bonds chose Orange Cassidy, and I chose the reigning,
Of
defending,
course you did.
all the way from North Carolina, Kenny Omega, the cleaner, the belt collector. He's going to retain in an awesome match, full of talent, full of story, full of false finishes. The cleaner is keeping the gold. His best buddies, the Young Bucks, are going to lose the gold, and so there's going to have some division there, and so it just makes sense. So
Yeah,
Kenny Omega is my pick.
I get it. He's the favorite. Kenny certainly with all the invisible hand in his corner, and the Good Brothers, the daddy of the Danglies. I get it. And I think that Bond's picking Orange Cassidy is very intriguing. I'm shocked.
Sure.
I wish I could hear why he picked him. You know, me, I can't pick against Pac. I made a rule to myself. I will never pick against the Bastard. Ever.
As you should.
That's my guy.
Right.
I want him to be the champion. I want him to ascend. I feel like this would be a perfect opportunity where Kenny doesn't have to lose per se, but Pac could still win. This is a great opportunity, and it would feed the story of Kenny losing his mind. I love that, you know, Kenny is eventually going to go down this path, guys, where he's going to go into this descent into madness. You could tell the story arc is there beyond just AEW television. This guy is obsessed, almost like the Lord of the Rings type of stuff, like obsessed with the gold. And I feel like if he were to get cheated out of a win here, and Pac could beat Orange Cassidy and pin Orange Cassidy, which would then lead to Pac versus Kenny down the road, I am all for that story.
Oh yeah.
I want to see Pac and Kenny go head to head in a one-on-one competition with the belt on the line. The bastard. My favorite wrestler on the planet, as much as I like DMD, Pac is my favorite wrestler. He made my Mount Rushmore even over Bret Hart, which I still struggle with that from time to time, but my heart is in it. This is my guy. Pac is the dude. This last week on Dynamite, when we saw that promo, he was spitting some truth bombs at Kenny, man. Like, he was coming hard at Kenny. Like, this is your glorious title reign, Kenny. Like, it was just some of those lines from Pac. The man can – I know that the critics of Pac say that he can't – you know, his one weakness is his promo work. No, dude, if you listen to Pac's promos, this guy can spit fire. For me personally, I would have, if I was booking this whole card, I'd have Penta win. I'd have Penta win the Battle Royal, and I'd have Pac win this one, and I just have the Death Triangle dominate the landscape of AEW. I am so ready for Pac to ascend to the throne, the Bastard to take the throne. I feel like his character, like, we've talked about it with other wrestlers on the roster. I know Kenny gets the love for the best bout machine as the top guy, but Pac to me is every bit as good as anyone on the planet in professional wrestling. And I'm not going to bet against him.
Tony Khan said it. Yeah, Tony Khan said it too, and everyone goes out of their way to say it. It's not like a casual thing.
Makes me smile every time I hear it.
They go out of their way to say it, and man, does he deserve this main event spot more than anybody, for sure. The hard work that he constantly puts in, the storytelling, the selling that he can do, is he ever. But man, this is going to be an outstanding. I mean, we are less than 24 hours away from Double or Nothing. These are our Double or Nothing card predictions. Here's the blank bingo card. I'm going to show up everyone's final picks. I'm going to start with Bonds. I'll play that real quick. Then Crayfish's, and then mine picks for you. But Cray, while I'm showing everyone's picks, we're gonna, after we're done doing these picks, we're gonna welcome in a special guest, Sharonica, who's going to talk about her awesome experience today at the Fan Fest, meeting all the AEW superstars, as well as her experience live on stage. And we did see her with her Inner Circle Squad sign on the stage, dead center, holding that up. We were like, there she is.
Yep.
So we're going to welcome her in shortly. And so she's going to tell us all about it. But here's Bond's picks. You know, we all have a few clean sweeps, like the Agogo. We have the Britt Baker one. We have the Miro one and the Inner Circle one, Mox Kingston. So
don't just brush over.
Oh, yeah.
The DMD is winning the women's championship.
That's
Thank
right.
you. And I'll be happy.
That's right.
I'll be happy.
So there's all Bonds' picks, and I'm going to pull up Crayfish's picks on it.
All right.
And so if you guys want to cross-compare, make some final adjustments, make sure you guys send us a DM or tweet it out or anything like that so we can get your picks in before the start of Dynamite for your chance to win a Dynamite Download prize pack. And here's Crayfish's pick. So now that you see your picks, book the card.
Okay.
60 seconds or less, book the card.
Yeah, I mean, if I can make any changes to it, I mean, obviously my heart, I picked Pac, but I do think that Kenny's going to win that match. I do think that you're right on that one. So I'd start with Serena Deeb, obviously in the buy-in. You talked about starting the show off hot. You could see Hangman with that big victory going against Brian Cage. That would be a great way to start the show, especially if Hangman wins the show, the like double or nothing at the beginning, and Omega wins at the end. It kind of brings that story full circle. I do believe that the ultimate story that is going to be told in AEW is the one that all of us kind of see as the de facto story.
Right.
Hangman is going to dethrone Kenny. So if you had Hangman beat Cage to begin the show and then Kenny win at the end through, cowardly means, it would be a really cool dynamic. So I'd either start with Hangman versus Cage or Darby and Sting versus Sky and Page. I think tag team wrestling, we'll talk a lot about it. Tag team wrestling is what makes AEW so special. So I could see potentially going that route. I do think that you need to have the DMD versus Shida needs to be at that midway point through the show. And that needs to be the one that kind of catapults the second half of the show into the riding high of that momentum. Other than that, I feel like you can mix and match any way, shape, and form. I do think that Anthony Ogogo versus Cody Rhodes needs to happen sooner in the show than later, especially knowing that we all think that kind of Ogogo is going to win this one. I think that you got to get that bad news bears out of the way early on so that we can get the good news later on in the show. I'm intrigued about more than on all of these matches. I'm intrigued on where the card placement of Inner Circle versus Pinnacle is. That feels to me like a really big match. Stadium Stampede, a lot of eyes on that. It was the main event of Dynamite going into the go home show. I'm most intrigued on the card placement of that one. What about you?
So I'll pull up my results or my picks on there, the SPD picks on it, which we're looking at it, you would think it's a Crayfish pick because there's a lot of heels that are being chosen by SPD, which is surprising.
Yeah, the good guy of Dynamite Download going all in on
look
the
at
heel
this,
movement.
it's all over the landscape of this one. So
I like it.
Obviously, buy-in aside, the more I was thinking about it, I think you should start with the Young Bucks and Mox Kingston. You start so heavy, like I think that would. It's hard. It's a double-edged sword of like if you do start that heavy, it'd be great. Or it's either the Sting and Sky and Page one for sure. But I'll just say Young Bucks and Mox and Kingston. That way you have this extremely high title change, and then you can go to Hangman and Cage again. Keep riding that out. Then a go, and then you can do break for the Battle Royal or something like that. And then you can do Miro and Lance, then DMD, Stadium. I think Stadium Stampede has got to be the co-main event, essentially. And I can't wait. I really want the Stadium Stampede essentially to like end in front of the fans. Like they're doing it all crazy over the stadium, and then it breaks out into the fans.
I like that.
And that way
you could hear the genuine excitement that Tony had about the Stadium Stampede match. You could hear it in his appearance on AEW Unfiltered. You could tell he is excited about that, like being the cross promotion and, being involved with the Jaguars. He talked a lot about like, man, there are a lot of casual fans, NFL players that are reaching out to him about the Stadium Stampede and what a cool gimmick that is and what a cool idea that is. So I do think that they're going to push that one to be a big deal on Double or Nothing.
That I can't wait for it. And now we have our special guest, Sharonica, we're going to welcome into the stream, and she's going to tell us all about her great day at Fan Fest. So welcome, Sharonica.
Squad.
That's right. Join Dark
Join the
Order.
Dark Order. Right.
Love the mask. And there's that sign we saw on TV,
We
national
saw that on
television
Dynamite.
last night, dead
Did
center
y'all-
on stage. How did you
Nobody
get on
seen
stage?
Miro?
We saw you. We saw the sign. We saw you representing loud and proud. And really, Sharonica, you have been there in every moment of this jam-packed weekend. Tell us a little bit about your highlights from this experience. You know, obviously having your sign. I love that you have that Inner Circle Squad sign behind you, because that was amazing to have that on live TV. But Sharonica and Crayfish, we've been vibing. We both love ourselves some DMD, baby. So tell us what it was like to meet the DMD live and in person. Tell us what FanFest was like.
Look, walking up on her, my husband seen her come out the door. Y'all been to Dailies. Like
Oh,
that
yeah.
door over where the sign says Dailies. It says
Yep.
Dailies on the wall. We seen her come out. She went back in. We're at like 202, which is the whole other side, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they had the media set up and stuff, so we couldn't just cut through right there.
Yeah.
So he sees her come back out, and he says, there she is. I had to go down the steps, take off running around, come up that ramp. By the time I got to her, guys, I was like, and she patted me on the back. Are you okay? Yes, let me catch my breath. And then there was a guy there with her. And he said, well, slide down that little alleyway right there that leads up to that door
Yeah.
on that wall. Slide down in here and catch your breath, and then y'all talk. And Britt's
so
patting
sweet.
me on the back. Yeah, she's patting me on the back. Are you okay? I said, yeah. I said,
That doctor
I was
in her.
running because I didn't want to miss you, because I had done missed her twice today.
Mm.
He was like from here 3 feet from me, and I said, Britt, can I get your autograph? And somebody had her, and she said, we'll be right back. And I never seen her again.
Oh.
And then we seen her that one time she went in the door. That second time, I took off.
Oh.
You ain't missing her a second time. That's for
No.
darn sure.
And 2 other people walked up, one other person, and she said no. And then another other person walked up to ask her, and the guy was cutting us off, and he goes, no. And she said, don't you see her shirt? I'm talking to her.
I love
The
it.
EMP thing. Yeah, that was amazing.
That was awesome. All your photos and videos look like such an awesome
Oh,
time.
and
An all-day
that-
event. Beautiful. It was so
Well,
lucky to be a part of that.
Last night, okay, we were usually up in C4, which is the concourse level up
Right.
there. That's where all my tickets have been every time. We got an email Thursday that
Yeah.
said we had our seats traded in for those bleachers on the
Yup.
stage.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So cool.
Okay. It was, like I said last night to some of y'all, I don't mean to be ungrateful, but it was hot. I'm short. People stand up. I didn't barely get any pictures. But if you go back and watch Dynamite last night, when
We saw a
Ethan
lot
Page-
of you.
Yeah, when Ethan Page and them were wrestling,
Yep.
everybody else was sitting down. I stood up with my digital, and that's when I had Ethan. He turns around, he was flexing for me. I'm like, yeah, reach for the sky.
That
Yeah,
is so
baby.
great. Oh my gosh.
And then
And
we had a Fuego chant last night. I had the whole place Fuego, and then he was loving it. And then y'all see my picture? We got him
Yup.
last night.
yeah,
He
that was
signed
great.
my poster. I have a Fuego poster too.
Your poster
signed
that
my
you have
poster.
with all the autographs is unbelievable. You got tell us all the people that you got to meet at FanFest, because I mean,
Okay.
I got to see on the DMs that you were sending to Sharonica. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, I was sending y'all the first scoops. Yeah.
You had the Acclaimed, right? You got to meet the Acclaimed. You got to meet Britt Baker.
Give a ride.
Yeah, baby. Yeah, girl. Yeah, girl.
Okay.
Tell us some of the big names that you got to get on this poster, girl. Tell us about it.
So I had already met Top Flight, and I give
Nice.
them my poster to sign, right? And they signed like this big. Y'all
Yeah.
see up in the top left one, that top right corner.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh God, that.
Okay, and then look over here, Craig, to the right under you see Charlie where it says BTE champ. There's the other Martin.
Yeah.
Okay, so when I walk up to Max Caster and him, they have the plastic, so I had to set my poster over. I was passing it over to him. He hits Caster with the edge of the poster, and Anthony Bowens pats him. And I said, "Oh, don't take him out with the sign." And Caster goes, "Oh, like that. Play the part."
Yeah.
And then he's laying it down, and the wind caught it, and he goes, "Oh, it's so heavy," and he set it down.
Yeah.
And then Max Caster, they're looking at it like that, how to sign. Where can I sign? And I said, anywhere you want. And he goes up here where Max Caster signed, and then Anthony Bowen signed underneath him, right?
Right there, yeah.
Nice.
He sees that little bitty Dante Martin signature.
Oh, there.
Next thing I know, Max Caster has my poster sitting there, and he's leaning down, taking pictures. Like, look at this. What the hell? Why did he sign so small? And I said, I said the same thing, because when we met Top Flight, I didn't have half. They were like,
you have this huge poster. You have this huge poster, and then this tiny little
and they signed a little bitty. So Max Caster took a picture, and I've heard that he's already retweeted the picture of my poster picking on his signature.
That's
We'll have to check
nice.
it
I
out.
like it.
We love
like
it.
it.
I mean, everybody loves the Acclaim. Crayfish got me on the Acclaim train all the way. They are doing some great stuff. They're pretty.
That's
right.
baby.
You know it.
Yeah, girl.
We are all on the Acclaim train for sure.
I gotta
than-
say, I love the placement. You have Tony Schiavone, and then DMD's signature did the opposite of the Top Flight. She took like a quarter of your poster.
Yeah.
Rightfully so.
She was almost at the end of, I think the last signature I got was BRITT, and then I got David LaGreca where it says busted open.
Nice.
That was my last two. So when I turned it over for BRITT, she goes, "Where can I sign?" I said, "The rest of it's yours, honey. Take it." She goes, "No, I'll just sign up. I'll sign up here with Tony. I love Tony."
Yeah.
Okay.
Her guy.
Yeah.
How awesome.
That is awesome. Of all the people you met today, who really surprised you as being like the coolest and nicest and really like elevated your fan
cool.
stardom toward them? Like, who really surprised you? Acclaimed? BRITT?
The Acclaimed. I don't really like them because of what they said about Mods and him, but they're growing on me too. I like all
How
the
funny
talent
are they?
They are very. A lot of people say, "Well, I'm supposed to like, this and this," and not like, you can't like both. I like all the talent. We've been going for months supporting all the talent,
For sure.
That's what we love about you, Veronica. You're so positive. You fit this Dynamite download community so well. And that's what we love about having you a part of this crew. I obviously I was living vicariously through you.
All of us were.
Those pictures of you with the DMD, I was like, oh my God, you are so lucky. I was digging it so hardcore. But
when I was running, I was thinking about you, Craig. Please don't go in that door. Please don't go in that door. Please don't go in that door. Really.
You are amazing.
For you. For us.
I love it. For us, for this crew, this movement. I love this community that we have. And I love that you and I are vibing on the same page with the DMD. But I also love that you pointed out like your encounter with the Bear Country team this weekend seemed to be pretty positive too. You had a lot of great experiences overall. What match going into this weekend though? Obviously, we know you and I are on the same page. You are excited about the DMD era beginning. Mm-hmm. Aside from the DMD winning the championship against Sheeta, what other match are you most excited to lose your voice over? Because I'm impressed that you still have your voice.
Yeah, I am too. You need to drink your tea tonight and really get some vocal rest tonight. Big day tomorrow.
I was just eating a mint before we did this. I'm ready to pop for that wild thing.
Oh,
nice. Yeah. See, I love it. You and I are on the same page. That wild thing is controversial, but I think being there live and hearing that and singing along and rocking out alongside of it, and imagine if they win the titles. That'd be so fun.
It would. It would
Yes.
explode Daly's place, that's for sure.
Be the
Yup.
end of the danglies.
The end of the danglies.
The danglies aren't going anywhere.
I love it.
Look,
I
there we
love
are.
it,
The
Veronica.
claim.
The
Have
claim.
arrived.
Yes, yes,
I mean,
man.
I couldn't see them and what faces they were making. So I had seen how when other people, do the claim, they were doing the claim, but they didn't. He was tripping over the small signature on my poster.
At the top
I love
plate.
those little stories on that. Yeah.
That is really cool.
I have another very cute story. Y'all know Jess Palumbo, I think's her name. She does
Yeah.
all the video.
Mhm.
Could she? Okay, so she's walking around and she's videoing, right? And I'm standing in line for the claimed or somebody. I'm not sure. But she videos with this little kid and they're doing something. And then she walks up by us. And as she walks up, I pull out my Sharpie and I got her attention. I said, Jess, can I get your autograph? She goes, what? I'm not famous.
Aww.
I said, look, you do all the packaging. You're famous to us.
Yeah.
My poster
Yeah.
is like I'm going to put like AEW on it, I guess. And just have the whole AEW family,
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
We're a family.
Exactly. We're a family.
Same,
The
The
AEW
same
fan
thing-
base is passionate. We are a family.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
and the same thing happened. That happened with Jess. That happened with Bryce. And that happened with Rick Knox. They all
Mhm.
were like, why me?
Well,
Aww.
they're
Yeah. And I'm like, because y'all are AEW. AEW. Tony.
AEW. AEW.
AEW.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I got up to him and he said, love your shirt, girl. And then I said, yeah. And I said, can we get a picture? And I held out my phone, was doing it selfie mode because my husband went with me. And I knew he was a Bulldog fan. So
Yeah.
I snapped the picture and I said, go Dogs. He said, that a girl, and patted me on the shoulder. And then we barked together.
Oh, oh. Oh, oh, oh.
Go Dogs. Yeah.
That's awesome. So for the Fan Fest, was it all in that practice field where the grass was, or was it on the concourse, or was it all spread out?
It was spread out. That's
Okay.
why I said I feel like I walked many miles today because they
Worth
did, they did critical botch on this, like had the ring set up and anybody could just sit in the stand seats anywhere they wanted
Yeah.
to sit. They still had the stage bleachers up so
Mhm.
anybody could sit anywhere they wanted. So they did critical botch with Cutler and Leva and that gang that they do on Twitch. And
Yeah.
then they had a few matches. And then they had the podcast, live podcast, -1.
Kid cracks me
He
up.
got the boogie pop. Oh, that was so cool. It about made me cry because he was like talking about his dad. And he said,
Yeah.
-1, they asked him, is there anything else you would rather do than wrestle? And he goes, no.
That's
And then
really
says, well,
sweet.
your mom has said that before, that they've asked you to plan for something else in your life. And he goes, no, not happening. I'm taking over after my dad. And at the
Wow.
end of 10 and -1 with Aubrey and Tony with the podcast, 10 gave him a Dark Order championship belt.
Oh, wow.
You're gonna make me cry here, Sharonica. The heel
Yeah.
of the group is gonna get all teary-eyed.
It's purple. The straps on it are purple. I don't have any pictures with my phone. I got them on my still digital.
Yeah.
It's really sweet.
But he
That's
was holding
really
it
sweet.
up. Everybody was saying 10, 10, 10, 10. And then he picks up the microphone. He goes, okay. Now a -1 champ. -1.
That is
We were
awesome.
like,
The
yeah.
love that 10 definitely like feels like he's gonna emerge. Like he is a really special part of the Dark Order, but his big
Sure.
brother vibe that he has with -1, that is really like an endearing thing, isn't it? I love that.
Yeah. Aubrey asked
Absolutely.
him, was there anything that he said, she says, we know that -1 sees you like a big brother. What has he taught you? And -1 says, nothing. He's stupid. And
Oh my
Aubrey
gosh.
and Tony were like, y'all know what? We didn't tell him none of our questions or anything. We just give him a hot live mic. That boy,
that boy
Into
goes
it.
off.
I
Yeah,
love
boy,
him on
those-
commentary when he was doing commentary on Dark. That he brought so much to the commentary team. It was hilarious.
That's
Yeah,
And
really
I'm sure we'll
funny.
see him. I mean, he's in town. Obviously, we'll probably see him tomorrow. In some aspect, maybe
I
coming out for the Battle Royal with 10. So
I hope
that's some awesome stuff. What time do you plan on getting to Daly's
Yeah.
place tomorrow?
Yeah, tell us about that.
The gates open at 5:30.
Oh wow!
6:30, and the show starts at 7:30. So they're only allowing us an hour.
Okay. It's like you could have been sleeping at Daly's this whole week, the past 48 hours, because you're there so much.
That's what I said. Our home away from home.
Yeah.
Now another cool interview. Did you see Charlie's signature? When I got Charlie's signature,
Oh yeah,
pull that back up. He
Yeah,
put the
grab
best BTE champ ever. And I asked him, I said, where's the belt? Because Sammy gave him. Do y'all watch the vlog?
Yep.
Yeah.
Sammy gave him the vlog belt. He
Yep.
said as soon as all that was over, Sammy turned around and gave one to Griff, gave one to Fuego, gave one to number 5. Everybody backstage, so that didn't count. He threw that belt in the trash.
Oh my gosh.
And then my husband goes, he said that's another subject that we'll have to discuss with Sammy at a later date. My husband goes, "Did you beep yourself?" And me and Charlie started going beep 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 beep. He was very cool.
I love it. I love it.
That is
That's
some awesome.
fantastic.
Any of you guys, Dynamite Download fam, any have questions for Sharonica that she hasn't covered? I know she has a busy week. It was so fun doing our watch along on Friday, and then we were just like, wait, there she is. There's the sign, because it was like all of a sudden you see, as soon as the Inner Circle looks at the screen at Dean Malenko and MJF, boom goes the sign, and it's right there in dead center. It was awesome.
And you know what? That's when I got my best pictures of them. From last night, my best pictures are going to be when everybody sat down, and I popped up on my own. Same with Miro. I have my Miro sign, and I popped it up a few times. I think they only showed it, and the only way my dad knew it was me was because my tattoo. But they showed my sign for Miro.
Yeah.
It said the best man Miro. But the only way I got good pictures was when everybody sat down.
So I
Sure.
gotta ask you, like, are Sharonica, are you gonna have the same seats for?
No.
Okay, all right, that's what I want to know.
I'm gonna be back up in C4 tomorrow night.
Okay, all right.
We were probably 45 minutes in the dark last night, and I looked at my husband and said, "I want my seat back," because I've
You guys
had
were
room.
squished in, yeah.
Well, yeah,
It looked
and
great
then-
on TV.
It looks great. And those seats are selling for tomorrow night for $270.
Wow.
I ain't no way.
So you did get you got an upgrade, but like, I mean,
I got
obviously
my
financially you got a financial upgrade, and you obviously it paid off because you were on TV and you got some great pictures. But tomorrow for the show, for the pay-per-view, you're gonna probably have a little room to breathe. It's not gonna be so hot and stuffy. Maybe you won't have to go through. You won't have to go through so many lifesavers. That'll be a good thing. You gonna bring any
about my seats? Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
No, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
The thing about our seats is the sea level 4. They have those big fans,
Oh,
and it's blowing on us constantly.
okay.
And
And you've been to Daly's place. You're a local. You've been to Daly's place throughout this pandemic a lot, right?
Yeah.
So you
We
know the
said
good
it-
spots. You know the good spots
Yeah.
in the arena. Yeah.
Yeah. Like all the way up until Blood and Guts was coming. April 7th and April 21st, we sat in section C9,
Yeah.
way over to the right. I knew Blood and Guts was coming, and I knew it was cinematic, and I knew everything was going to be on the screen. I called my guy at Daly's place and said, "Please move my seats," and he put me over in C4. So I was in C4 for Blood and Guts and the May 12th show. And
I like
that's
it.
Where I'm at. That's where I'm at for tomorrow night. Also,
Nice.
You are one smart gal, Sharonica. I have 2 questions. One's going to be from our chat, and we'll throw it out there after this first one. Sharonica, you have the Inner Circle Squad poster. What are some posters that we should be looking out for as fans tomorrow night?
Yeah.
We want to see our girl Sharonica tomorrow. What are a couple of the posters that you're most excited to get out there for Double or Nothing tomorrow? We
my
know
inner
you.
circle.
Yeah.
I got my Miro.
All
I
right.
still have my best man Miro.
Yeah.
And I have my Moxley Death Rider one.
I
All
like
right.
it. All right. Well, that leads into the next question, and the next question is going to come from the crowd. Who is your favorite wrestler in AEW, Shronica?
You had to pick one. We know you like you're a big Mox fan. Is it Mox?
John.
Wow. All right. All right.
Moxley.
Listen, when I took that video today, I seen him. Okay, that flex field. The flex field was maybe 60 yards of the flex field, and then they had it blocked off. I was peeking through the wind was blowing. So it was blowing the black thing that was dividing it.
Yeah.
I was waiting on him to come. I knew that he had to come and sit down at 3:30, right? And everybody else had done walked by the same spot. So I'm watching. I'm standing. I'm prowling, waiting for Moxley to come that other 40 yards across, and I caught a glimpse of him. So I was ready. And that's how I was standing and walking backwards with them, holding my phone, snapping, snap, 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 snap. New tag team champs right here. Eddie gives me the biggest thumbs up. I got that on my skills because I don't think I had the phone in my left hand snapping like this. I don't think I caught up to it, but Eddie gave me the biggest thumbs up, and he goes, "Look at my girl right here." Because everybody else, I mean, it was like, no, it didn't faze anybody that they were walking past. The Elite come by. Now, I don't like the Bucks, but I seen that they were behind the curtain, and I seen them when they come around the corner.
You're going to definitely notice them with how
Elite.
stupid they look with their gear right now. My God,
Well,
how
yeah.
dumb did they look?
I seen them behind that black curtain talking to Hangman. And Hangman came around first. I mean, they have to get along.
They're all, exactly.
I seen them standing there, so I'm waiting, and then when they come around, I got the crowd to chant, "The Elite, the Elite,"
Ooh.
because I seen them first and snapping pictures, and Nick was walking with his whatever kind of hat you call. I'm over them.
A dangly fuzzy, probably.
I'm over them.
Yeah, I know. So tell us before we wrap up, Shronica, give us what match are you most excited for, and what match do you think will be the biggest upset of Double or Nothing? And then we'll wrap up the show.
Got to be well rested for tomorrow.
Yeah.
What I'm ready for the most is
It's tough. It's such a stacked card.
Like, tell us. I mean, your predictions, Shronica. You sent us your predictions. What one do you? I guess.
Are Serena Deeb.
Yup.
And then I got Hangman.
Yup.
Then I got a Go-Go.
All right.
And then I got Guy and Paige.
Wow.
And then I got the DMD.
The who?
The DMD.
Yeah, girl. Yeah, girl.
Then I got Lance Archer.
Wow.
Inner Circle, of course, and then Mox and Kingston. And we cheered for Pop. Today, Kenny was doing his podcast, and he was talking about how he was a belt collector and everything. And I'm setting up. We were in section 203 under the fan. Let's go, Pop!
Yeah, baby! Yeah! I can't wait to go. I want to go to a show with Shronica. Her and I will be rocking the DMD and Pac. We'll be screaming our lungs out.
I'm going to piss some people off tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll be pissing some people tomorrow. Yeah, piss them off, Shronica. I like that.
Fish loves to piss people off in the
That's
crowd. That's why he's got his heel merchandise out now, because he is the true heel at heart.
You got to do
Hold
it.
on. Who was that walked by? Somebody walked by today, and then there was a fan even standing there, and he said, "I don't want to mess with you." Oh, there's a security guy there, right? Me and the security guy had words the house show. Okay?
Yeah.
He was very, very rude. And so he walks by us today, and another fans or whatever standing there in line said something about him. And I said, "Oh, that dude, I stay away from him. He stay away from me." Right. And then that fan turned around. He goes, "I wouldn't want to mess with you." I said, "Well, me and him had words at the house show. He don't mess with me no more. I won't mess with him no more."
Yep. Yep. That's okay. We've SPD and I we did the same. We understand. We understand too. We get it. We get they take
Sure.
the security there very seriously.
Let us be fans. AEW. I mean,
That's
let us
right.
be fans.
That's right. This is a big moment for us, especially when you go into a weekend like this, Sharonica. You got to.
Oh, this is my first ever pay-per-view.
Oh man, you got to be geeking out. I cannot wait to hear about your experience tomorrow. We're going to have a lot of fun watching Double or Nothing. You know that Sharonica and the rest of the AEW fam, the Dynamite Download fam, we are going to be watching live tomorrow. SPD, wrap this baby up. You know that we're going to watch the show and then we're going to do a recap on Monday, correct?
All right. That's right. We're going to do a Monday night recap. We're going to let it digest, let it settle, because I mean, tomorrow is going to be such a jam-packed show. We're looking probably at least 4 hours of wrestling, which is awesome, going into this Memorial Day weekend, but we need it to digest. So Monday night, we're going to recap it all over again. This is, a great weekend for AEW and wrestling fans. And like we've been saying, it's going to be changing the landscape of AEW and wrestling. Changing the landscape for sure. So this was great. We love.
We're going to get 2 and new announcements tomorrow night.
I like it, girl.
New tag team champions.
Yeah,
that's right. I'm on board.
Women's champion, DMD.
You heard it straight from the source right here, Sharonica.
Straight from the source, Sharonica. Coming from Daly's Place. Thank you so much for taking this time with us. We really appreciate it.
Maybe I can join with y'all Monday night.
We would love to hear your feedback. We love
what it's
all
like
that
live.
You've been giving us. Yeah, what it was like live at Double or Nothing. We loved seeing all the pictures and all your passion and excitement is what AEW is all about, Sharonica. That is what represents this fan base. Somebody who clearly is willing to run and lose her breath just to get the chance to talk to the DMD. That's what I'm talking about, girl. I love it. I love your passion. We look forward to talking to you tomorrow, and we will definitely catch up with you on Monday in our post-show analysis. All right.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in.
Represent that Dynamite Download shirt proud tomorrow.
Make sure you.
I'm aware that tomorrow, guys.
Thank you, girl.
Thank you. Make sure you guys send us your bingo cards and your picks so we can get them all gathered up, and we'll pick the winner, and the winner will be announced on our show Monday as well. So thank you guys. Have a great night. Try to get some sleep, everyone, because we have a big day ahead of us and big night ahead of us tomorrow.